So I think I confused a few people when they saw that I had some ball pythons on my Instagram, so I want to explain a little bit about it. This here is an ultramel ball python. Ultramel is a recessive gene, so if you breed this to a normal, you will get heterozygous ultramels, which means that they're carrying the ultramel gene, but they appear to be a normal ball python. And now you take that het ultramel and breed it back to this ultramel, and you will get a clutch that is half ultramels, and all are going to be het for ultramel. So that's a little bit about this animal that I have in my hand, but let's get back to the point. So my dad had a somewhat small collection of ball pythons that he was just getting into breeding. He had kept them, he had bought them all as babies, and it was hitting the 3-year mark or so, so he started to breed a little bit, but he didn't really want to keep up with all the breeding and keeping, and he basically wanted to get out of ball pythons. So I ended up absorbing his collection and selling off a lot of the animals. And in the process, actually this female that my dad had given me, I had sold it, and then like a week later, she laid eggs. So I was holding her for better weather, and then all of a sudden she has eggs. So I'm in a bind with what I do with these eggs, or what do I tell the customer. So I ended up getting to the customer. I said, I will split the clutch with you, and there was only 2 eggs. And so I said, you know, you can have your pick of what comes out of the egg. And then I was very, very surprised. Now, this pairing was our pastel banana yellow belly. And that male was bred to our pastel leopard. And these were 2 beautiful animals, and it's a really, really cool pairing. But they were paired months and months ago. They were paired probably 8 months before she had laid the egg. So we were not at all expecting anything to happen. We did not know that she was even pregnant. That may be me just not being attentive enough, and it's been a while since I've had pregnant ball pythons around. And if you guys don't know, I actually started in ball pythons, so I haven't always had just corn snakes or anything like that. I had ball pythons back in the day. About 5 years ago, I produced a few clutches of ball pythons, nothing huge, and I decided that it wasn't really the direction I wanted to go in. But so this girl laid 3 eggs, and I set them up a little haphazardly. I wasn't really prepared. The incubator wasn't fired up, anything like that. Luckily I had an incubator downstairs that my dad had actually given me. Otherwise I don't use incubators because colubrid eggs don't need them. But I fired up the incubator, got it to what we needed to be at. So if you guys don't know, python eggs generally, especially ball pythons, you're gonna be around 88 to 89 degrees. And I set it to 89 degrees, and the thermostat would go from 88 to 89 and fluctuate a little bit. Not really a problem, and it would stay in the range that I want it to stay at. So great. I set it up 88 to 89 degrees, and what I used for my egg box was just a Sterlite container with a light diffuser. If you don't know what a light diffuser, I will show you right now. On top of cocoa chip bedding, and I just filled that with a decent amount of water. I wasn't really measuring anything. I wasn't really taking it that serious. And as a result of that, we had a little bit excess moisture coming off the bat. So one of the eggs started to mold, and then I saw that the egg was going to go bad. So I disconnected it from the clutch and threw it out. And so we had 2 eggs, and it seemed like it was taking forever these things to hatch, and it had to have been almost day 60, and typically these eggs will take 55 to 58 days or so to come out. A lot of people like to cut their eggs on day 55, but I'm gonna wait for the first head to pop out of an egg if I'm going to cut a clutch. And I did cut a clutch because I was like, what the hell is coming out of this egg? And I just couldn't wait to see what was going on. And part of me was like, I can't believe whatever this is going to go to the customer, but that's the right thing to do. So I knew that the baby was coming to the customer, but I was still super, super, super excited to see what came out. I took a peek in, and it looked like some type of, you know, maybe a paradox. I sent a picture to Travis Wyman. If you don't know Travis Wyman, he's a geneticist, and he also breeds ball pythons. So I sent him a picture what is this? Like, what is going on? He's like, maybe it's a paradox chimera type thing, because it was like this grayish color with random spots of white, or I don't know what the hell this thing was. But it turns out, it seems that both of them were actually het pied. Now, that's not a big stunner as far as the leopard goes, because the leopard genes seem to have originated in pieds. So a lot of the early leopards were het pied. There was a theory back in the day that there weren't any leopards that weren't het pied, but some people have totally isolated the leopard gene, and that is no longer true. But you're gonna have a little bit of a likelihood for it to be het pied. But how is this banana pastel yellow belly het pied? I don't know, but I'm happy it was. And I was shocked when this thing came out and I saw that it was what I think is maybe a pastel yellow belly pied leopard. Leopard, you can't really, it's hard to tell what's a leopard pied and what's not. And I certainly wouldn't be the one to make that distinction. But yeah, it's just really, really interesting looking. So it could be pastel yellow belly pied, it could be super pastel yellow belly pied, it could be super pastel yellow belly leopard pied, pastel leopard pied, you know, any of those things it could be. But let's take a look at them. Check it out. What is this? So I thought that the pastel pied or pastel yellow belly pied would make it yellow, but it is a grayish color. But look at that pattern up by the head. I love that amazing little snake here. I am so glad he popped out. So I am super jealous of the customer that is getting this little girl. It is a girl, I did sex her, but just look at the like random oranges that are in this animal. Like, I was expecting things to be yellow, but I really wasn't expecting things to be orange. There's kind of a weird outline coloration of orange. I'll probably get it in better lighting eventually. But, oh man. And of course, pied, I mean, is one of the most striking genes in ball pythons, and definitely one of my favorites. And I never really thought I was going to produce one. I could have never imagined that I would produce one, especially, well, quite frankly, my dad bred it and he produced it, but I never thought that I would hatch one. And I'm just so surprised, and it was such a delight to see this little guy come out of the egg. And now it's just time to get her feeding and get her going. And then eventually, when the weather clears up, as well as the holidays, you can't ship animals because, quite frankly, all your packages are going to be delayed just because of the volume that they're dealing with. So we do our best not to send any animals during this holiday season. So this guy will be with me for a while. And I mean, of course, I got to get her feeding. And then she'll be going to Florida. The guy who's getting her, he has a business called Luna Morse if you want to check him out. But I think he's gonna be happy with her. I'm very, very happy with her. I hope you guys enjoy her. I hope you guys enjoyed our little story here. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. And if you made it this far, you're on the team.